the solution one, it's random choice, and basically a stats teacher, there's like a random process, and tickets are given out, and like random selection, and like stickers will be allocated to people who have, who win and whatever. They get good
Yeah,
spots, medium spots, bad spots, or no spots.
yeah.
So that's one of my three that I chose. I think that's like it's even, but I said for what do you think the pros and cons of that are, Ian?
I don't know. I feel like, oh, I mean, it's fair for everyone because it's totally random. But for some people, like, I think it would be hard because it would be like maybe that's their only way of getting to school is to drive. Like, they can't take the bus, or maybe like their parents can't like drive them to school or something. So
Yeah.
that would be the con. But pro is it's fair for everyone since it's just completely random.
See, I don't even like the thing is my own plan, quote unquote. I think like my favorite because, as I said, I think all of them are negative because there's still gonna be kids that can't like how do they get to school a bus.
Yeah, yeah,
So,
exactly.
all right. So I said solution two. It's like democracy, which so basically students, faculty, and staff, would all elect a parking committee and blah blah blah. So positives and negatives there.
Um, so like the committee would choose who.
Basically it's like our government, so like there's a committee and then but they're elected, the committee, so they're gonna
So
there's
they would choose who like
yeah
gets to park
they, yeah
where.
they choose various groups who park where or whatever.
Um, I feel like it wouldn't be as fair as the random one, but they could like or they could prioritize like people who actually need to drive to school because that's their only option. That would be
Yeah,
a pro, and then the con is it's just not as fair as the other one.
guess what I thought about some things like as like a random thing, like even
Yeah.
even teachers are part of that thing, and so here's that's why the third one is a faculty first thing, so like the faculty all get like a sticker, so they get to park closest, and all of them are assured spots. But after that, it's just kids, and it's free for all. Which, so I mean, because I look at it like this: teachers, you need to have teachers to teach. The other
Yeah,
ones where it's
yeah,
random,
exactly.
or other ones where it's random, it's like, oh well, teachers might not be able to get a spot.
That's true. Yeah, that's true.
So, and then my own plan, uh, it's just like okay, so it's like a carpool type of thing where it's sort of like the COVID thing where we come some days or whatever, it switches. So I said like, you know, have a carpool thing like we'll just say every other week. There's like it's sort of like a busing. You can either do carpooling or the bus thing, but like I don't know, it's kind of stupid, but but so it's not like so it's like it switches. So like there's less cars that have to even be able to, because if there's, let's just say, 1,000 kids, only
Uh-huh.
500 kids are able to park. So where are the other people gonna go? Nowhere. They
Yeah.
have to. So what would you like? Either change that plan, or what plan would you have? Like what would be your thing?
So you're saying like it would just like one week a specific amount of people they get to park, and then next week it's another group. Basically, that's the idea.
Yeah.
Um,
You
I
can
think
change that up, or you can make your own thing. I mean, you don't have to, but
yeah. Maybe like I like the idea of like having it equal for everyone, so everyone has the ability to drive. But maybe like you said, like the teachers, they get to park.
yeah.
Like they don't like the teachers aren't part of that. They just get to park whenever. Like that would be one thing, and then like maybe for there would be a survey to fill out that like driving to school is like your only if that's your only option, they can park whenever. But
Yeah.
like we fill out a survey and says, well, you can like my parent can drive or like I can take the bus. Maybe they can be a part of like the switching out thing. So some weeks they can just drive, or some weeks they can just take the bus or whatever. So my thing would just be, I like the idea, but just add like a survey element to it so they can either A only drive or B be switched out.
That's a pretty good idea. So I mean, yeah, that's a good combination of things. All right, so this first solution I picked was random choice. So basically, a stats teacher, and there's this algorithm that it's just random selection. So you pull names out of a bowl, and stickers of various like levels of parking would be allocated to people like staff, teachers, and kids. So it's not like just whatever. So what do you think the positives are to that? And if you have any questions, because I talk stupid. What do you think the What do you think the positives and negatives are to that?
Like it prioritizes teachers.
No, it doesn't. It's just random for everybody.
Oh, I think you said it. Like,
it doesn't prioritize.
It's positive. It's random.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what are the negatives of that, Bob?
Negatives. He doesn't give it to people who actually need it.
Yeah, exactly. I agree with that. The second one, it's just democracy basically. So there's like a, parking committee, so they say, and the committee, who was elected by the student body and staff, would allocate spots amongst various groups. Like, and there's still different like stickers that they hand out. So it's sort of like parking passes. So. Yeah, it's basically just democracy. So, what do you think the positive and negatives are to that?
Positive, it's a democracy. Negatives is it could be corrupt.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. And then solution 3, it's a faculty first type of thing. So, there's like these stickers with the A on it that are given to faculty, so they are assured spots, and everybody else just first come, first serve. So, positives, negatives.
Positive, it prioritizes teachers. Negative, kids could be in a rush, so that could be dangerous.
Yeah, and that's the thing. It's like literally half the spots. So like and my own plan is like sort of like they're doing with like the cohorts now. Have like not like a carpool thing, but like it switches based on like who can come in like certain weeks, and I don't know. It's just the start of what I have. So, well, like, all right, if you want to add on to that plan or make your own, what would be your thing? What would be?
I mean, you could just like increase the cost of the ticket.
That'd be your solution.
Yeah, because like you know how like if price increases, demand decreases.
Yes.
Yeah, you can.
Yeah. That's I don't like that one just because there's some poor people, there's some rich people, but that's hey.
Like Econ,
Yes, I know. All right, and that's all, Bob. I appreciate your time. All right, so my first solution, or the first solution is like a random choice. So like a stat teacher is gonna make this like allocating process where random names are drawn, and it doesn't prioritize students or staff. It's just anybody. So that's the first thing. So what are the positives and negatives that you can see?
So the positives, like you can call it more fair because there's no it's like randomized. But the negatives is there's actually people who need the spots more. So it's kind of a little bad in that way.
Yeah, I agree with that. All right, so the second one is democracy, basically. So there's like a parking committee that is elected by the students and teachers, and they then vote, or they don't. They then do their own thing to allocate where the spots go to. So, what do you think the positives and negatives are to that?
I don't know. It's like our government we have, and people think it's the best, how to run things, but it could be like corrupt, especially something like this.
That's like the thing. Everybody keeps saying corrupt. That's true though. Like it is. And the third one is like a faculty first priority. So like the faculty gets these stickers, like parking passes that say A on them. So,
Yeah.
Because you have to have whatever. So what are your positives?
Yeah. I mean, it's good for like faculty, obviously, but like for kids, like I don't know, it's like people are just gonna say it's unfair, and like again, like it might hurt people who need the spots a lot. So
yeah, all right. And then I said for my own plan, it's like to have sort of like the COVID thing is like where you go like cohorts, you switch it up. So like certain people have to like ride buses some weeks, and then some don't, like, and it just rotates. Mm-hmm. But what would you? I mean, you could add to that, or like what would be your own solution?
I think that's good. Yeah, you could just do that. Like, I'd say like that works in terms of just being fair and stuff. I don't know if the only negative is I don't know if you like trust people to like do their right assigned thing on a day or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I could still add like, I still think teachers should be prioritized because they have to teach.
Yeah, yeah.
But other than that, it's like, I also think they could do like some Google type of form, like if someone's like disabled or some crap.
Yeah.
Or they have to, like if you had to go right to work afterwards, or I don't know, it's stupid, but. So, all right. The first solution is a stat teacher and a few of his followers suggested that there's going to be a random process where names get pulled out of hats and random. This is including staff and students, so there's no priority. It's just completely random. So, what are the positive and negatives of that?
So the positives is that nobody has like a particular advantage over getting the better spots of over each other. I think a con is that like perhaps some teachers might feel like they're not being like respected because some students might get better spots than them.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. So, all right, solution two is democracy. So basically, there's a parking committee, and you know, once the people are elected by the staff and students, they will choose how they want to assign spots. So, what are the positives and
So the
negatives?
pros are that like the committee probably can't be biased because like everyone has to have an input on electing the committee.
Yeah,
But then the negatives are that like they kind of control everything and they can like maybe they one member of the committee just has beef with someone, they can just assign them a bad spot.
all right. And then plan three, it's a faculty first type of thing. So, all the faculty get a sticker that says A, and they get guaranteed spots, and everybody else, all the students, just it's first come first serve.
Okay. So the pro is that teachers are gonna feel like they're like valued and like they mean a lot to the school, and I think the cons are that like the students, like they might not feel like they're being like represented, or they might not feel good about having to like walk further to get to the school.
All right, and then my own plan would be like, because since let's just say there's 1,000 students, half the students are gonna get there aren't even enough parking spots for half the kids. So, I said it's something like the cohort type of thing where every other week there's. One week people have to ride buses or do a carpool type of thing, and then the other week they get to park. But you could add to that or make. What would you do to make your own? You can totally make your own things. What would you do? Like, what would be your solution?
Um, I would say like every kid can like pick a number, and you can maybe have like certain days of the week like okay you're allowed to like park in the parking lot on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays of like a certain week, or perhaps you could do it with like an A-day, B-day schedule with where people are allowed to park. I think the pros of that is it would be like a more clear, like defined system. And I think the cons of that is that it would be hard to manage from week to week about like which different days people are parking in spots on, which different days people have to have carpool on.
Like Nash, the parking lot's going to be half capacity next year because renovations, and I have to give you three scenarios. You're supposed to give me pros and cons in all of them, and then I'll say my plan, and then you say yours. All right, it's pretty easy. It's just kind of stupid, but all right. My first thing is it's a random choice. You pull names out of a hat, and random people get spots, and that's how they pick spots. So, pros and cons to that, Adam.
You want me to say the pros and cons?
Yeah.
The pros, it's random. Everyone has an equal chance of getting like selected. You know.
Yep.
Cons, not everyone can get a spot. There's no, it's all luck based. No luckiness.
Yeah.
If someone really wants it, they might not get it. If someone really needs it, they might not get it.
All right. The second one's democracy. So people are elected, and the parking committee then chooses how they want to do it.
Yeah, pros, it's democracy. Democracy's just the best, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Cons, it could be corrupt system where the people like give it to their friends or something. I don't know.
All right, and then the third one is faculty. The faculty are prioritized, so like they automatically get spots, and everybody else is just a free for all.
I feel like that kind of makes sense, honestly. The pros, the people that work there, they like need a spot, right?
Yeah, yeah,
Cons, there's less spots for the students.
yeah. And then all right, my own plan would be like to do some every other day thing where one day like you're allowed to drive to school, and the other day you have to get a ride from someone else who's going to school, like in the driving like it's their day or a bus ride. And then what would you do, Adam? What would be your plan?
Like my own plan?
Yeah.
Okay. So I think let me think about this. Let me think for a second.
All right. Are you mute or you just is it bad quality?
I'm on mute.
Oh,
I'm
okay.
discussing this.
Oh, I see. This is so bad. I'm gonna edit it anyway. I don't really care. I muted it. No, literally everybody. Oh, I don't care. I'm gonna edit it out anyway because it takes too long. Because he's like, don't put people on the spot.
Okay, here's my idea. I
All
don't
right.
feel like it's that good, but it's something.
All right.
So, a first come, first served basis.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
whoever needs it the most, if you really want it, then you're gonna prioritize getting there early.
All right, that's fair. All right, that's a good idea, Adam. Thank you. I will see you later.